Okay, so I wanted to pick back up and do a couple more subtraction problems. I ran out of time there. My video was getting too long on the first part. So here we go. Let's go with part 2, doing some more subtraction. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so let's do 3x squared minus 4x plus 7 minus x squared plus 5x minus 2. Alright, so hopefully you recognize here's a quadratic, here's another quadratic, and that's okay. But what we're doing is, again, we've got that subtraction sign in between the parentheses. So when you see that subtraction sign in between the parentheses, this is when you want to do Miss Fowler's little trick. Again, the whole purpose behind doing the trick is to save you aggravation later and to hopefully prevent any mistakes with signs later. Don't skip this step, okay? So, again, since I see that minus sign, I'm going to do the mathematical thing where I'm multiplying through by -1, but all that means is I make this a plus. I change the sign here, so that becomes negative. I change the sign here, that becomes negative. And since this is already negative, I'm going to make it positive. Okay? So, now I have an addition problem. All I have to do is combine like terms. 3x squared plus -1x squared is going to give me 2x squared. -4x plus -5x is going to give me -9x. 7 plus 2 is 9. Exponents are in descending order. I'm done. So here's your solution. Okay. All right, so let's jump into some multiplication. Now this should be, again, a review. We just got done with quadratics, so most of this should be pretty good. So let's start with let's do a monomial times a binomial. Monomial, remember, is one term, so let's say 3x times a binomial, so let's do 4y plus 7. Alright, so here you just simply do your distributive property. If you remember your distributive property, you multiply everything in this set of parentheses by everything that's outside. So 3x times 4y, I do my 3 times my 4, which is 12. X times y, which is simply x, y. Then I'm going to do 3x times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. X, bring down the x. And there's my solution. Okay, so let's skip over here and let's do binomial times a binomial. Here's where you, again, we called it FOIL. We did the box method before. It's simply the distributive property again. So you're distributing 2y times 5x, that gives me 10xy. 2y times minus 1 is -2y. 4 times 5x is plus 20x. And 4 times minus 1, I don't know why it keeps doing that, is going to be -4. Alright, so here we want to check for any like terms that we might have. Well, I don't see any like terms, so I'm just going to rewrite this. Now, me being me, I like putting x's before y's because that's how they come in the alphabet. Some people would argue it's not that big of a deal, so it's up to you on these. As long as, again, the exponents are in descending order, it's really okay. At least for my assessments. Alright, so again, I just rewrote it and put the 20x in front of the -2y, and we're good. Alright, so let's do another one. This time we're going to do a binomial and a trinomial. We'll just keep the same variable. That might make life a little easier. Okay, so again, now we want to do the distributive property. So we're going to distribute and multiply everything in the second set of parentheses by everything in the first set of parentheses. So I'm going to change my color here, and I'm going to multiply everything by 2x. So 2x times 4x squared is going to give me 8x to the third. Oh, Lordy. I don't know what happened there. Let's fix that. Okay. X to the third. All right. Then I'm going to do 2x times minus 5x, which is going to give me negative 10x squared. Then I'm going to do 2x times 6, which is going to give me plus 12x. All right, so I've distributed the 2x to everything, so let's change up the colors, and let's do the 3. So 3 times 4x squared is going to give me 12x squared. 3 times minus 5x is going to give me negative 15x. And 3 times 6 is simply going to give me plus 18. Now, when you do these, again, you want to look for those like terms. Let's start with our x to the third. Are there any other x to the thirds? No. So that means I can just simply rewrite my 8x to the third. I'm going to mark it out to show that I'm done with that one. Now I've got some x squared. Here's another x squared, so we can combine those. That's going to give me plus 2x squared. Get rid of those. Then I have a 12x and a negative 15x. I can combine those. They're like terms. Mark them out. I'm done. And I'm just left with poor little old plus 18. They're already in descending order based off of their exponents. And I'm done.